Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting episode where we make big ideas easy to understand and life a bit simpler. I'm your host, James, and today we're talking about something that affects us all, work-life balance. It's not just a trendy word, it's something we all struggle with. And to help us break it down, I'm excited to have Emily back, our expert in productivity and mental health. Emily, we're happy to have you here.
Thanks so much, James. I love being here, and I'm excited for today's chat. Your listeners always ask the best questions, so I can't wait to hear what they think about this topic.
Definitely. After our talks on mental health and stress, we knew we had to talk about balance, something that seems simple but is hard to get right. So grab your coffee, tea, or whatever helps you relax, and let's talk about finding balance in our busy lives. Emily, let's start with a question that's on everyone's mind. What does work-life balance really mean? And is it something we can actually achieve?
Great question, James. Work-life balance doesn't mean dividing your time perfectly between work and home. That's not realistic. It's more about deciding what matters most to you and making sure it gets the attention it deserves.
I like that. It's not about perfection, but about finding what works for each of us, right?
Exactly. For some people, it might mean leaving work at 5 p.m. to have dinner with family. For others, it's working late on a project but keeping the weekend for rest. It's personal and changes over time.
That makes sense, but here's the thing. Every time I feel like I've found balance, something unexpected happens, like a work emergency or a family event. How do we deal with those surprises?
Good point. Balance doesn't mean avoiding chaos, it's about staying flexible. Think of it like riding a bike. You might wobble, but as long as you adjust, you'll stay on track.
I like that image. Balance as a process, not a goal.
Exactly. It's all about making small, consistent choices. And remember, it's okay to have off days. What matters is that you keep trying.
Absolutely. It's reassuring to know that balance isn't a one-time achievement, but an ongoing effort. Emily, let's get real. Why is it so hard to find balance? It's not like we don't want it.
True. One big reason is our culture. We often celebrate being busy, like it's something to be proud of. How often do we hear people brag about working through the night or skipping vacations?
Guilty. I once worked through a holiday weekend, thinking it would impress my boss. Spoiler, it didn't.
Exactly. We've linked being busy with being successful, but that's not always true. Another problem is technology. Our phones and laptops make it hard to disconnect. Even when we're off work, emails and messages keep coming.
Tell me about it. My phone once buzzed during a movie night, and before I knew it, I was drafting an email instead of enjoying the film. Not my best moment.
It's so common. Technology has made it harder to separate work from home life. Plus, we have unreal expectations to do well at work, be there for family, stay fit, and have hobbies. It's tiring.
So how do we fight against all this? What's the first step?
Awareness is key. Start by figuring out what's causing the imbalance. Is it taking on too much, not having clear boundaries, or being constantly connected? Once you know, you can start making changes.
That makes sense. Recognizing the problem is the first step to solving it.
Right. And another factor is our mindset. Sometimes we feel guilty when we take time for ourselves, thinking we're not being productive enough. This guilt can make it hard to set boundaries.
Absolutely. It's like we're conditioned to believe that rest is a sign of weakness, but in reality, taking breaks makes us more effective.
Exactly. Changing how we think about rest and balance is crucial. It's not about being less productive. It's about being sustainable in the long run.
Let's talk solutions, Emily. How can we start creating balance today?
Here are some simple tips. Set boundaries. Decide your work hours and stick to them. For example, no emails after 7 p.m. Let your team know when you're available. Learn to say no. Politely decline tasks or events that don't fit your priorities. It's okay to protect your time.
I'm terrible at saying no. I once joined 3 committees in 1 month. Guess who didn't sleep that month?
You're not alone, James, but saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. Next, manage your time wisely. Use a calendar or app to plan your day and avoid overloading.
Totally agree. My calendar is a lifesaver, but self-care often gets put aside when we're busy.
and that's a big mistake. Self-care isn't optional, it's essential. Make time for sleep, healthy meals, and exercise. Even a 10-minute walk can help.
Got it. And what about technology?
Create tech-free zones or times, like no phones at dinner or in the bedroom. It feels strange at first, but it really helps.
Great tips. Are there any other strategies you recommend?
Yes, here are a few more. Prioritize tasks. Focus on what's most important each day. Use the Eisenhower matrix to decide which tasks are urgent and important. Take breaks. Short breaks during work can boost productivity and reduce stress. Try the Pomodoro technique. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. Delegate when possible. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether at work or home, sharing responsibilities can lighten your load.
These are all actionable steps. I especially like the idea of prioritizing tasks. It helps to focus on what truly matters.
Exactly, and remember, it's about progress, not perfection. Start small and gradually incorporate these habits into your routine.
Emily, can you quickly share some tools our listeners can use to achieve better balance?
Of course, here are a few essentials. Scheduling apps, Google Calendar or Todoist for organizing your day. Meditation apps, Headspace or Calm to manage stress. Time tracking tools, Toggle to track and optimize your time. Books, Atomic Habits by James Clear for habits, and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey for prioritization.
Great picks, Emily. Listeners, try one of these tools and see how it works for you. Emily, you've given us great tips, but have you personally struggled with balance?
Definitely. A few years ago, I was working long hours and ignoring my personal life. I thought I was being productive, but I was actually burning out.
What changed?
It wasn't one big moment, but small steps. Setting boundaries, saying no, and making time for family and hobbies like hiking. It took work, but it changed my life.
That's inspiring. A great reminder that small changes can lead to big results.
Absolutely. One specific change that helped me was scheduling me time in my calendar, just like any other appointment. This ensured that I dedicated time to relax and recharge.
That's a brilliant strategy. Scheduling personal time makes it just as important as any work meeting.
Exactly. It reinforces the idea that taking care of yourself is a priority, not a luxury.
Now let's move to our Q&A segment. We received some great questions from our listeners about work-life balance.
Yes, let's dive into them.
Our first question comes from Ariba in Dubai. I work remotely and find it hard to separate work from home life. Any tips?
Great question. Working remotely can blur the lines between work and personal life. Here are a few tips. Designate a workspace. Have a specific area in your home dedicated to work. This helps create a mental boundary between work and relaxation. Set a routine. Stick to regular work hours and take breaks just like you would in an office setting. Communicate boundaries. Let family members know your work schedule to minimize interruptions. End your day with a ritual. Whether it's shutting down your computer or taking a short walk, have a routine that signals the end of the workday.
Those are excellent tips, Emily. Another listener, Lisa from London, asks, how do I handle feeling guilty when I take time off work?
That's a common feeling, Lisa. Here's how to manage it. Reframe your thinking. Understand that taking breaks makes you more productive and prevents burnout. Set clear boundaries. When you take time off, commit to fully disconnecting from work. Communicate with your team. Let them know you're taking time off and ensure your responsibilities are covered. Practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that it's okay to take care of your needs.
Thank you, Emily. These answers are really helpful. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Just remember that finding balance is a personal journey. What works for one person might not work for another. Keep experimenting with different strategies and be patient with yourself.
Emily, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom. This has been eye-opening.
Thank you, James. And to everyone listening, remember, balance isn't about doing everything. It's about focusing on what truly matters.
Well said. Folks, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Tell us what's one tip you're going to try from today's episode.
We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and keep striving for balance.
Stay balanced, stay happy, and we'll see you next time on the weekly podcast. Bye.